Hello and welcome back to Tinged as Literature. Today I'll once again be looking at Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a novel by R.L. Stevenson. In this video I'll be looking at the fourth chapter called The Carew Murder Case. Let's first look at the storyline of the chapter. The chapter begins with a maid witnessing the horrid murder of Sir Danvers Carew almost a year after the previous events had taken place, as Carew is beaten to death using a cane Utterson had previously given to Jekyll. An onlooking maid then alerts the police that the man responsible for the crime was none other than Mr. Hyde, before she herself fainted due to the trauma of witnessing such an act. Amongst the evidence collected from the body, a letter addressed to Utterson was recovered. The chapter then ends with Utterson taking the police to Dr. Jekyll's house in order to arrest Hyde, but no trace of him is found. Now if we analyse this scene, it's immediately shown that there's been a large jump in time since Hyde's previous crime of trampling the child in the street, and within this time he's grown to be a much stronger force. However, there's also a similarity between the two crimes, as both have been an innocent figure violently attacked by Mr. Hyde. Now if we go even further into this scene, there are some key quotes that can be picked out that show the major contrast between Hyde in this chapter compared to the start of the novel, and also Utterson's reignited fears about Hyde. Firstly, the quote, "haunting sense of unexpressed deformity," creates suspense and tension as Hyde cannot be found, and also describes how the character of Hyde represents the evil within all of us, with the reason people are unable to describe him is that we all have the inability to describe our own destructive instincts. Another quote is, "an aged and beautiful gentleman," which represents the good nature of Sir Danvers Carew in contrast to the evil of Mr. Hyde, again coinciding with the other quote, "the old gentleman," in the previous chapter, which shows the men at Jekyll's dinner party to be of a similar stature to Carew, whilst also being completely contrasting to Mr. Hyde. Finally, the three linking quotes, "audibly shattered, body jumped and incredibly mangled," truly expose the true extent that Hyde goes to inflict harm to Carew, almost suggesting that the attack was so violent that the maid could hear the sound of his bones breaking as a result of Hyde's forcefulness. Although these are the only quotes I've picked out, there are many more that would be just as useful to look over, so feel free to go back through the video and write down any of the quotes and annotations I've already been through. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll be going over chapter 5 in the next video.